one more thing. Make sure you guys can hear me okay. Make sure my audio is okay, because what was happening before was so Zoom is really slow right now because everybody's working from home. And so I was noticing in the last call that it was really like garbled and it was cutting out. So I'm trying some new cameras and some new microphones today. Okay, we're not going to wait any longer. We don't need to be on here for an entire hour, but hopefully more people jump in, and hopefully the longer we do this, we're going to get more women, more moms jumping in and participating. So here's the deal, ladies. Marissa and Shannon, because it's just you and I, if you can have interaction, I would love that. Because this particular topic of homeschooling and like the crazy that we're telling ourselves is, I think it's so fun to listen to other people's stories and hear what they're saying and like share a little bit. So I want to know, okay, Marissa, I'm going to make you come on because I know you really well. Like, you're home now. I mean, you're home anyway with your boys, I think one day a week, but you're home according to yesterday. Like, how's this going for you? And I'm putting you in the spot because I know you. So I need your help here. I didn't even introduce myself because you guys already know me. Okay, so tell me what's going on, ladies. Because me just teaching is one thing, but me coaching is completely different.
Hey, it's Shannon.
Someone's got to speak.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. I am on a recess walk right now, so that's why I don't have my video on, because we are finishing a walk that took longer than I expected. But when I get to do this, it's going good. Now I'm feeling this sense of dread as we get closer to my house.
It's like you can feel like the black.
I can feel it. Like in my chest. I'm like, oh no, I'm going back to that place where there's all these projects that I haven't gotten done, and the kids are not about device time, and no.
It's like you're loading the ammunition to go back into war. You're like, okay, all right. I love though that you did a recess walk. That's great. I think that's fun.
Got to get everyone out.
You know, so here's one thing I've been thinking about with that is like, I don't know about your schools, but my daughter tells me that they have to earn recess. So they automatically get like the lunch recess, but then for the afternoon recess, they have to earn it. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm sorry, but that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like,
yeah, I don't know about that. That sounds like they're just a glutton for punishment. I mean, they all behave better when they get to run around.
Right. Like they're setting themselves up to make it more difficult, honestly.
For sure.
The way I look at it. I'm like, my kids are so much better. I'm so much better when I've had a little bit of exercise and fresh air, and then you can concentrate again. I'm like, I totally don't get that methodology.
Me either. But it's the same as like, I don't understand why I can set my alarm early to get up every day just to even get on the treadmill and then talk myself out of it every morning.
Oh God, that's a whole nother coaching call that we could do. I think is brilliant.
I saw your post on that and I was like, oh, then I have to admit I'm doing it. No.
Dang it. It's like she knows me. It's like she's here with me. It's like, no, it's because that's me. Everything I'm writing is because it's me. It's not a secret. Okay. So how are you feeling about this homeschooling business right now and the shelter in place and like what's going on? Because my clients I've heard everything right now, everything from my clients about what they're telling themselves.
I have a husband who's going into the hospital almost daily, so that part is hard. But the kids actually do better for me when he's not home, so there's that piece also. We just homeschooled for a month, as you know, in Guatemala, thinking that was such a novel idea. And we came home for 2 weeks, and then this. So the novelty of doing all this is not exciting for my kids because they just did it. And then they also don't have the whole oh, after I get my work done, we can go explore XYZ because we can't. So I think it just feels stagnant and tense in the air. Like there's just this, even walking around the neighborhood right now, like things are weird. I feel like I'm in a sci-fi movie, like people acting weird, the air feels weird, everything feels weird.
Right? And do you feel like when you're like secretly going to the playground because you're not supposed to, like people are looking at you and they're like, oh,
Well,
that's family.
I haven't let them do that, but interestingly, I mean, everybody's out for sure.
I know. I was just at so I know you're not supposed to go to playgrounds, but we went to the school playground because nobody is there. And I'm like, well, if nobody's here, then I'm going to play here, right or wrong, right? I'm sure I'll get plenty of, posts. But it was like, this is kind of wonderful at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
we had full rain, and you're right, there's so many people out. So you had like a month-long lead into this homeschooling business. And
Yep.
yeah, that's kind of cool though, right? Because you've been able to work through this, like this structure, I think is a big thing.
I think I just worked through, like, I'm not nervous about it. And I know it'll be fine. And I realize how much learning they can do in 3 hours instead of an 8-hour day.
Exactly.
However, I'm hoping, it just managing 3 different kids' schedule and keeping on top of all of each of their to-do lists and not mixing like a live Zoom meeting for one of their teachers. And I just feel like I pride myself on being very organized and we're doing okay, but this is not helping my type A OCD self feel on top of it for sure.
Ooh, so that like little lizard brain of yours that's like, I got it all. I'm like, everything's in check. Oh,
nope, we are not. We are missing stuff left and right.
Yeah, I know. I think we all are. Megan,
Hi.
Megan, what are you doing? Like, how are you feeling?
I'm doing pretty well, honestly. I don't know that I'll have that much to share because I feel very lucky for the situation that my family's in. I think my husband's a doctor, as you know, but he's not having to be in the hospital right now, at least not currently. So there's some anxiety about that changing, but right now he's at home, which is different for us in a good way. Turns out we do all like each other a lot. So, and my kids are doing pretty well. I mean, I just have a kindergartner that I'm homeschooling, so it's really easy stuff. And they're getting along well, and it's nice outside. And I don't know, I feel like we're in a pretty good position right now. And I know a lot of other people are not.
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
Why are we in a good position?
Yeah, right. You and I have coached for a while now.
Yeah. Yes,
So
I miss you.
I'm so glad you're on here.
I'm happy to see you.
Yes, you can come on video too. I'm telling everybody that. I'm like,
oh, I've got the kids running around in the background, but
oh my gosh, wait, this is a thing about moms and you have kids.
yeah, right.
How dare you?
I know.
I get it though, if you don't want them on the video. So like reflect on that, right? Like what do you think like it's okay?
I think I just mean that I don't know. I don't want to disclose too much, but I guess like financially we don't have any concerns because my husband's getting paid right now. So we don't need to worry about not being able to pay our mortgage, which I know a lot of other people are in situations where those are new worries for them. And my kids are at an age where they're just at a kind of easy age to homeschool because it's not like, I don't know, it's just kindergarten. It's really easy. I can sit down and teach my kid that. It's not a full 7 or 8 hours of work. It's a little bit and we can get outside. It's beautiful out. It's not a winter storm warning anymore. And we have tons of resources in this house. Turns out we have about 4 years worth of toys in this house to play with. So there's plenty of stuff to do. We've got a great yard we can go out and play in. Just a minute, buddy. And I don't know. I guess I'm enjoying it slowing down. Maybe you won't be surprised to hear me say that. I am appreciating the fact that things are just slower right now. We're not rushing off to something. We don't have too many things scheduled, and we're just spending time together and enjoying the time together. So I guess I'm just kind of appreciating that side of it. But I didn't just homeschool in Guatemala for a month, so this is just where I am at and where we're at in our house. So
Yeah. And you have a different perspective right now.
yes, I do. I have a great perspective right now, and that may change if my husband has to go into work and be on the front lines. That's going to change a lot. So I'm appreciating where we're at right now.
Yeah. And it goes back to all of our coaching that we've done together, right? It's you cannot have this experience unless your mindset is in alignment with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you could very easily be like, oh, your husband home and like all these, life circumstances, and you could still very easily be wrapped up in the global drama.
Yeah.
Right. But you're choosing a different
I don't turn the
mindset.
TV on.
Yeah. So it goes back to that. And a lot of women, so with this that I'm hearing with the homeschooling, and, this is going to go out for everybody. And luckily, most of it, well, the four of us that are on have a pretty good understanding of mindset coaching because you've been with me for a while. But for those who aren't, we're elevating, right? We're like, I suck. I'm a horrible mom. I don't know how to do Common Core math. When are we going to do it? My kids are fighting me. They must hate me. They're going to be so behind. There's so much drama around like the kids being home 24/7 now. And a lot of women too are still working. So I know for me, like I was playing Foursquare in my skirt and my shirt and my like little, slip-on shoes, and like texting and playing Foursquare, trying to navigate it all. And I had that moment where is what I want to teach all of us is like, well, that's not setting me up for success. Like, what am I doing? Right? Like, I don't need to be texting, playing Foursquare, and in my cute little outfit. Like, I could have done that differently, but I caught myself because I've been doing my mind work. But a lot of women are not able to step back from this. And this is why I said, I want to project manage this in the sense of you might be like I said, you might be in a different position where he gets called in and it's going to be all you. And then there's a whole different, whole new level of worry about him being out there and what that looks like. Right. I mean, all of us could change. A situation can change in a second. So I think what I want to, and we don't need a full hour for this one, but I want to talk about this is like, number one, I want to go back to if you are not enjoying the homeschooling, that's okay. If you don't look forward to it, that's okay. If you're not excited to do it, that's okay. Like you don't have to, right? That there's nothing in the books, and there's no book for this, by the way, because we've never been in a global pandemic before, that says we're supposed to enjoy this, right? If we did, we would probably already be homeschooling our kids. So we're asking ourselves to perform, to give, to meet a certain expectation that is self-induced. It's our own like governing laws, and they're not serving us. They don't even really make sense, I think. And so we have to really break that apart of like, why are we putting these rules and expectations on ourselves when it is not what we wanted for our life? So rather than continuing to put this pressure on ourselves, like I want everybody just to have permission, number one, to let it go. Maybe some of you actually love this homeschooling and you will start homeschooling after this. Not me. But one, let it go. This is a temporary situation that we are in that will have an end point. Things will be different on the other side. But what we're doing right now with this whole elevating of ourselves, this judgment of ourselves, this pressure cooker, it is not getting us anything positive on the other side. So when we go into, all right, it's math, and I keep picking on math because I'm actually really, really bad at math. And I get that feeling of like, wow, I'm pretty dumb when it comes to math, and I feel really inferior, which is obviously my own work that I need to do. But when it comes to like leading up to the homeschooling session, and we already have these expectations on ourselves, you know what the result is going to be? The result is going to be that we're going to fail anyway, because we cannot meet these expectations. We are not teachers. We are these kids' parents. We're their mothers. We have a whole different role in their life. We've not done this before. We don't even know how to navigate it, what does it even look like. And I don't know about you, but Common Core makes no sense to me. So now I have to go to the Khan Academy and like learn the Khan Academy and teach it to my kids in order for me to even understand the Common Core. So it's like being an accountant and getting called in to do brain surgery. Like, give ourselves a break, okay? Let it go. I'm going to ask you, whatever way you need to let it go, okay? So that goes into, who's got questions with that? I want you guys just to pipe in, like jump on a video, open up your mics. We need a dialogue. It makes it a lot more fun. So when I say that let it go, really what that means is we need a mindset shift, okay? That is easier said than done right now because we're not able to extract. Let me rephrase that. We're not choosing to extract ourselves throughout the day and get that break away from our kids that we so desperately need, right? Think about when you're going to work, you've got this time period that you're away from your kids. Or if you've been home with them and you stay home with them, you've got this routine anyway. So it might not be all that different, but you still might have some of this mindset business going on that you have to do it all, make sure you get it all in. But you got to extract. You got to go and have some space to actually get inside of your head and figure out what is going on. Not only that, but you have to have some space just to breathe, to not hear the words mom, to be alone, just to be an adult. And that could be as simple as, saying, okay, we're having our personal time now, and each of you go in your bedrooms. No one is allowed to come out. There's consequences. And you can take that time and you can do some journaling. You can do some meditation. You can do some Facebooking if you want. Although Facebook is not going to get you in your own head to figure out what's going on. It's going to be a buffering technique. You can work our models. So for those of you who have been with us a while, right, we know these thought models to figure out what is up there. What are you thinking and telling yourself? I just put myself in timeout. It works really, really well because every single kid knows what timeout means, but you have to take it seriously. So if you're in timeout and they come knocking at the door or sliding little notes, I get notes under the door, right? You can't bite. You really have to take it seriously so that they take it seriously as well. But this space, right, when we extract and we have some time to breathe, we can reset. We can take that minute or 5 or 15 or 20, whatever you're going to do, to really say, okay, I know that math is coming up, or English or grammar or geography, whatever. School is coming up, and I'm already feeling like anxious about it or annoyed or frustrated, or I can already feel like the pushback. That's what I'm getting at because my kids are 11 and 12. And so I'm here like, oh, I don't want to do it right now. Or can I just do 30 minutes later? Blah, blah, right? And you're getting the fight back and you're just like, ah, that's how I feel. Ah, right? So go in and be like, okay, I got to let this go because this is not a positive outcome. This isn't what we want. We don't want to be snipping at our kids. We don't want to feel elevated. We don't want our cortisol going through the roof. Do your mindset work and do the reset. But it's hard to do the reset work when you are in the middle of a negotiation with your 12-year-old. It really doesn't work very well because then it becomes a power struggle, right? When you're having that like fight, it's who's going to win versus what's the common ground here and how can we do this together? But you're the CEO, so you still get to make the rules. So take that time. Like, we deserve that time. Everybody, whether it's a man, a woman, or transgender, or whatever you, right? Non-binary, we all as caregivers need to take the time to get an understanding of what is going on to regroup. because honestly, we're just creating this ourselves. This is the drama that we're creating within ourselves just by thinking all these thoughts about how we are such like terrible moms. Why don't I love 5th grade math? Because I'm not 10. I'm right. Like it doesn't stimulate me. So rather than being awful and telling myself I'm awful, then I'm just like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's right. I'm not 10. I'm a 45-year-old woman who has moved beyond that. And I've got my own interests and my own learning desires. Sweet. Do you think your kids have any cares in the world when they don't like something that you love? Think about that, right? Like, I love mountain biking. My kids could care less. I think they actually dislike it just to like spite me. At least that's what I'm telling myself. But they don't apologize for that. They don't think that they're horrible kids. They don't think that they're inferior and something's wrong with them. There's like nothing there because they don't create that drama for themselves. They just don't participate in that drama. So get your shit together is what I'm saying. And hopefully your kids are not in it because I'm a cursor. I should give you the heads up. Like get it together, but get yourself out of the situation so you can actually understand what's going on, right? Being in the situation is like pouring kerosene onto the fire. And then you need to take some action. There's some things that need to happen. And this is where I was saying we need to CEO this. So I was thinking yesterday, actually it was on Monday after we had our group coaching call. And I was like, I am the CEO of my house, especially of my children. And I would never, ever come to work and speak to my employees the way I speak to my kids. Now, it's a different relationship and we could argue this, right? But in the sense of getting things done and getting a very specific result, because that's what we're going for, right? What I want is not just to survive the day right now. What I want is to design it so that everybody's needs are met at whatever level we can meet them. Okay, so that doesn't mean over exceeding. That doesn't mean, making sure that my kids are all okay and I've got nothing. That's not what it's about. It's looking at my household as I would look at my business and saying, okay, what's my 30-day plan here? Because I personally believe that this, I hope it doesn't, but I think we're going to be in this shelter in place a little bit longer, and doing that to create positive mindset expectation for myself. But what do I want from this situation? And maybe 30 days is too much. Sometimes it's what do I want for myself in this situation this day? And that's how I would do it from my business. And I actually have what's called a one and done process. And every single Monday morning, I block out an hour of my time and I create my entire calendar. And I'm telling you, everything goes on that calendar. And then I manage my life through that calendar. And it's fantastic because my free time is built in. My meditation time is built in. My kid time is built in. Like everything is built in so that when I'm in that particular moment, that's all I have to worry about. I'm not in the moment of watching my kids' basketball game and taking all these notes and writing these texts because I didn't hold myself accountable and get my work done. Like I'm in the moment because I did everything I was going to say I was going to do. So we need to executive level this, okay? So I really, this is the action piece of it. So when we work with coaching, right, we've got your thoughts, create feelings, feelings drive your actions, and your results are just a whole conglomerate of those actions, right? So your results are because of your thinking. And so we say this over and over and over again with coaching is like, that is the cascade. So you do your mindset work and you reset and you reshift and you have a completely different perspective, one that is real. I don't love homeschooling, and that's okay. That doesn't mean anything. Clear that crap out. Then you start to take the action, right? Because when you release the expectation that is creating all these feelings of dread and overwhelm and exhaustion and, like, quite frankly, boredom. Like sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I can't have another conversation about Fortnite. I don't get it. I really want to be there with you, but just not. I gave you my 10 minutes and that was my limit. That's okay. Now I can go on to getting the action done because I don't have drama that I'm managing and wasting my time on. So when I say executive level this, I truly mean go into every single day, and maybe you want to go into the week, or maybe you want to do it on a daily right now because things are shifting so quickly. But every single day, I want you to set aside some time to create your plan. Okay? Make the plan. When your brain has a plan, it just executes. It doesn't create drama around it. It reduces decision fatigue. You are not in a reactionary mode constantly. So if you think about that, like when you don't have a plan, it's like, when are we gonna have breakfast? I don't know. When are we going to the park? I don't know. Oh, we should go now. Oh, they want to do this. Oh, we want to do that. You're boom, 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 boom is exhausting. But if you create this plan and you set it up so that everything is taken care of, you have your personal time. There's your workout time. The kids get outside. Here's when they're going to do their homework. This is when they're going to clean up the dog poo in the backyard. This is when they're going to brush their teeth and make their beds. It is all laid out. Then you go to your team and you sit down and say, okay, everybody. And obviously, this is age dependent about how you're going to navigate this, right? You're going to know that like younger ones, they don't have as much time. Like they can't sit there and focus for 45 minutes. You're going to give them little, as Megan knows, like brain snacks, right? I call them brain snacks. It's you work for a certain period of time and then you go have a brain snack. And maybe that doesn't necessarily mean it's food. It just means time to clear away. So maybe you go outside, you do 5 jumping jacks, you go pet the dog, something like that. Brain snack is like you give your brain a little bit of a break to recharge, okay? You sit down and you basically have your team meeting. And everybody is clear of the expectations, everybody's clear of the time frame, and everybody is clear of the consequences, including yourself. Because you're going to be the role model. You're going to be the one, all eyes are going to be on you. So if you say, mom's going to go work out in the basement for 30 minutes, then you need to go in the basement and work out for 30 minutes. Because 1, you're teaching yourself to hold yourself accountable. And 2, you're teaching your kids that they should hold themselves accountable. Clear boundaries. Accountability. So you have to be the leader here. You've got to be the one that is directing this business in your home. And when you do that, things will diffuse. Things flow. Things occur and they happen without drama because nobody's caught off guard. Nobody else is having to react, right? It's like you're here, but if you didn't communicate it and you're telling them what to do, they have to process, they're going to negotiate, they're going to react, they're going to fight it versus like, oh, here's the calendar. Let's look at it. Oh, look at it. It's 12 o'clock. It's lunchtime. You go set the table. You go get the milk, right? So take this time to learn as a mom, right? Because I'm a bad mom is complete BS. You are a perfect mom. You are exactly what your kids need. Hear those words. You're exactly what your kids need. You are the perfect mom for them. Regardless if you love homeschooling or not, regardless if you love discussing Fortnite or not, regardless if you'd rather be back at the office and them in school, you are the perfect mom for them. No one else can do this job better than you can. But we got to give ourselves a break and we kind of got to get our shit together. Okay? And that's for your sanity and that's for your own sake. So here it is. Let it go. go and take your time to get your head on straight. Really start looking at these thoughts, pulling them out and writing them down. Is that serving you? Because I know that I have so many thoughts around this right now. My business relies on ancillary income. And that doesn't seem to be like flowing right now. So believe me, I've got a ton of thoughts around this, but it's going to be totally fine, because thinking that way does nothing but increase my blood pressure, increase my cortisol. It makes me take action from a place of fear. And that is not what I want to be putting out into the universe for my clients at all. I want to be giving love, and I want to be serving them, and I want to be educating, and I want to let everybody know that we're in this together and we're not going anywhere. You see how that mindset, you could either play in one side or the other, right? So get your work done in your head. Take the time to do this. And if you need guidance about the thought models, please reach out, because I will email them to you, and I'll send you our other videos on how to do this and how to really understand what's going on in your brain up there. And then CEO it. Look at it no differently than if you were running a business. Okay? How are you going to treat your employees? What are the expectations? What are the goals for the day? What are the time frame for the day? How are you taking care of yourself and being the leader and being the role model? And anytime you start to slip back into this negative thought pattern that is not getting you anything positive, you got to go and say, time out. Okay, we need to reset. I need to regroup. And you've got to step aside. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, that is like the best gift that you can give yourself. So I want to hear, ladies, put my shoes back on. I want to hear from you. Okay, so I just rambled. No, I didn't. I educated you for 15, 20 minutes. I want to know, like, what is coming up for you when you hear this? And Marissa, you have to participate too. I'm taking you off of unmute. So where are we all at?
So I can tell you about this morning. How about that? How are you?
Good.
So this morning I went into my typical crazy self and was screaming because my two boys were not listening, and decided I don't want to be doing that all day for the next 3 days that I'm home with them.
Yep.
Which is very different for me because I still have been working. So put them both in timeout in the kitchen on separate chairs and let them cool off. And then just kind of had an open dialogue. Now they're 4 and 6 for people who don't know me. So they're a little bit younger, but did explain that, you know, I don't want to be yelling. I don't want to be screaming. I need them, if I call their names, to listen, stop what they're doing. Right? Isn't that what we did today?
Hi.
And, you know, they agreed, and Aiden is in 1st grade, so he has schoolwork to do, you know, and not a ton because he is young. So we made a plan, right? And he did a math, and then I went down and worked out on my spin bike. So I got that in.
Well done. Bravo.
Right? I had
Bravo.
to go to the
Yes.
dentist, so went there. But he did his math, and then we went and did what we had to do, came back, and he did another schoolwork, which for another 10 or 15 minutes, took a break, and he's been watching Lego Masters. And then, you know, and I gave him direction, like, okay, when this one is done, we need to read. And he was pretty good. He told me when it was done. And
Good job, buddy.
read his 3 books, and then he went back to his Lego Masters. So that seems to be what works for me is, you know, he doesn't have the attention span to sit there for 30, 40, 50 minutes. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I'm taking what I can do and trying not to have the mom guilt of not teaching my son as much as maybe some stay-at-home moms have the ability to do. But just recognizing like that I'm doing what I can, and at least I'm getting him to do something.
So how did you, right? So when you were in the moment of like screaming, and then you're like, I don't want to do this. What, like, tell me what happened? How did that shift?
So, I mean, I tend to be pretty reactionary with them. And a lot of times, you know, Justin, my husband, has to say, relax, like, chill out. But, you know, he's not here. So I have to kind of internalize that myself and be like, chill out. They're 4 and 6. Like, they're gonna fight. They're gonna, you know, be argumentative. And I don't want to be that mom. You know, I had a mother who screamed like a lunatic, and I don't want to be that mother who screams like a lunatic. Although it does happen, doesn't it? Sometimes.
We all scream like lunatics sometimes.
Sometimes.
I mean,
right?
we're human. We are human.
I think it's very hard for anybody, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you're working, whether you're in this situation of the world or a regular situation in the world. You know, I think we all have our limits, and you know, I definitely know that I have mine, and it's kind of taking that thought process of take a deep breath. Is this really what you need to be doing right now? Is this really what you want to be doing right now? And where do you want this to go? Because I could have a day of screaming, but all that's going to do is cause me to have a sore throat and no real, you know, personal contact with my kids in a sense. And it's just going to alienate everybody. Or I can try my best to diffuse the situation in the moment and hopefully have a better day. So today was actually one of those better days.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you're catching yourself. So
Yeah.
you're practicing the skill set. And that's what I tell people is like, this is practice of like, oh, I didn't like that. That didn't feel good. And that's not the result that I want to get. And then you did exactly this, right? You got your stuff together and you shifted and you had a different perspective on it. Like, okay, this isn't really worth screaming about, which creates a whole different set of feelings.
Sure.
Right? Like it's totally different. Like, is it really worth screaming about? Like, would we ever go to work and do that to our employees?
Yeah, no, definitely not.
No. Like, I think about that. I'm like, why am I treating this differently? Yes, they're my kids, but any human being doesn't need that. Like, well, I don't want to say deserve, like, but I don't know. It's not the way you want to show up as a mother. I think another question there is like, how I hear this a lot too, is like, we're at our limit. Like the jug is full, right? So how can we be more proactive with that?
I haven't quite figured that one out yet. I feel like I do a lot and I don't always have a lot of support, but like I've expressed to people in my family and my closer circle, I can continue to be upset about the things I cannot change, or I can kind of know that this is how it's going to be and accept, you know, that not everything is going to be done when I want it to be or how I want it to be in order to do the things that I really want to do. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but you know, it's as a working mom, I work long hours. I come home, and I always say I come home to my second job, and my second job is cooking, cleaning, and being a mom. And you know, as much as I would love it to not be a job, it is a job. And you know, and it takes work and time and all of that, but there needs to be some sort of balance, because I do want to get on my bike and I want to run and I want to be mentally and physically active as well for myself. And juggling all of those things in a day is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you feel guilty when you then go and get your workout in?
Sometimes I do, but I think for me it's harder to, and this is something I've been working on, it's harder for me to say I'm going to do this. A lot of times I feel like I'm asking, is it okay if I can go for my run now? Is it okay if I go? And I have to stop asking and I have to start telling, like, I'm going on, like I am doing this because I need to. So that shift is in progress. It's a work in progress. It's not that I necessarily feel going, it's more of, I mean, I guess it is guilt. I guess so, because I feel guilty that I'm leaving, even if I've worked all day, and now I'm going and leaving for another hour or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. Like, why though? Why are we feeling guilty if we're leaving again? Like, is it that we shouldn't leave? What's going on there?
I don't know. I don't think it's the guilt that I shouldn't be going. I think it's more of that I don't know if it's just the female mindset in the sense of where, you know, as much as I don't want to be in a traditional role of a mom, you know, where I'm the one who has to cook and I bathe the kids and I, you know, have whatever it is. I think that still is slightly in the back of my head. Although I think being raised by a mom who, you know, my dad wasn't really around for much of the time and who did work, I think that I'm very independent in so many ways, and that is a good thing. That I know I need to do these things and it's okay to do these things, but I guess there still is that piece of it that feels bad. I don't know why, but yes, feeling bad leaving my husband to, you know, watch the children. But who better to watch my children than the other person?
Right? I mean, right there, like I feel bad leaving my kids I feel bad leaving my husband to watch the kids. Like,
Yeah,
that's not serving you.
no.
No, because then you're like, right, then you are riddled with guilt. You're riddled with uncertainty of should I go, shouldn't I go? And that's going to win, right? So that's going to win.
Yeah.
If you're in that mode, it's going to win because your actions are going to be, well, I shouldn't go, so I'm not going to go. Or I'll wait till everybody's asleep and I'm exhausted and I should be sleeping, but I'm going to go get my ride in.
Yeah, I think what's actually, now that you say that, what's really interesting is when I'm in training mode, like I just started a few weeks ago, and in train mode, and I have a schedule of workouts and I need to kind of keep to that, you know, it's much easier for me. Yes. It's much easier for me to be like, well, I need to do this because I'm training. But those months, as soon as that race is over, I fall into that. Like I go from 5 days more, or at least 5 days a week of being on to like, oh, I got a bike ride in. This is the first time in 2 weeks. Right. And it's like, I don't know where that mindset shift goes, but I think it goes back to that. Like, I feel bad doing it, even because I'm not training for something, right. But I still need that mental component of it. Because then I wind up, you know, with all sorts of other stress.
Right. Or like what I hear from clients is like, oh, my race is over. I need to make up for that time that I did all that training. So I should be home more.
Yeah.
Right. To make up for it. It's like, that's done. It's gone. We can't make up for it. And what that creates is like, it doesn't create anything positive. The result is we're not taking care of ourselves. We're not honoring an hour, 30 minutes to go and just be with ourselves, whether it's like just laying on the floor and breathing or out running. Right? Sometimes it's just like, oh my God, right. I just need to I put headphones on. So then, and I turn the fans on. So no, I can't hear anything. I'm like, I don't know. Somebody could be like losing a limb, but I just have to like check out. But you do know why right? You do know why. Listen, you're telling yourself that it's not okay to leave your kids with your husband. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be leaving them with my husband. He's been working all day too. And I've been gone. I should be home. Which of course is going to elicit that guilt. Of course we're going to be like, like that torn, right? But then it's not going to give us a result. So I love that you're saying, because it validates number 3. It validates like you do better when you have a plan, like when you're in your training program. Why?
I think it's more, I guess it's more of just, it's black and white. And I've always been that person that I don't want to let people down. So I think the fact that I know somebody's watching my training and watching what I'm doing makes me do it. You know, whether I'm tired, whether I don't feel like doing it, I think it's that person, that having that somebody looking at me or watching me makes me more focused on it.
So that makes you do the workout to fulfill this like sense of obligation to people, but that doesn't change what's going on in your house and going out for a ride. All it is that you already made the decision. Like in your head, this is my training program. I have built it into my schedule and I am doing this. There's no negotiation there. There's no, this is my training program, but I shouldn't leave the kids with my husband. It's just, this is my training program and I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
What comes from that? You freaking do it, right?
Sure.
Yeah. You're like, I'm doing this. That is the way everything in life works. When we decide that we're going to do it, and we tell ourselves, no, this is my program. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to let people down. I'm going to let myself down. I'm going to complete that race. All of those things are leading to very, very different actions. It's generating a whole new set of feelings that you want. It feels better. Guilt sucks. So there's no difference. It's just you're deciding when everything is done. So do more of this. Right? Like executive level, that you do this all day at work.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, you're directing your job, right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And if you, I'm guessing you don't say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't actually help you right now. Sorry about that infection you've got going on right now, but I feel like, whatever is going on. Like, you don't do that. You're just like, bam, you get it done, right? You're not negotiating with yourself because you're in the right mindset. There's none of that other stuff. You don't bring in all the other feelings.
Right.
Yeah. So I love it. Like, you're validating all of this right here. But you got to practice it. We all got to practice it, right? We're still participating in this guilt, and it does not do anything for us. Right?
You got it. Agreed.
Permission to stop the guilt. All of us. Permission. Who else? Megan, Shannon, do you have anything to add? If we have anybody else out there, if they're just listening.
I'm just listening away. I don't have much more to add right now.
Yeah.
Except maybe like on the other side of the spectrum a little bit, the expectations of, I tend to like want to come up with a million ideas, lists, projects, even if it is related to their schoolwork or a better process or a new methodology or whatever. Like, that's my way of trying to turn positive on it, is coming up with that. But then it's a circle of like, okay, but now I had 50 ideas, maybe I completed one of them, and I'll sit there and be like, how many ideas did I throw at my kids and get them excited about and then not complete? Like, I have to rein myself in a little.
It's like, you want a lick of ice cream? Psych. Sorry.
Yeah. Like, I can be like, when I will say, oh, okay, we're going to look at the positive and get excited about this. And then I'll take it like a little too far, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's where that, what helps with that, because we're visionaries. I mean, I know you're a visionary too. And we like to generate. And I go back to my one and done, what I had to do, because I was constantly like, bing, 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 bing. And my marketing team was like, would you please stop? Like, we're over here focusing on this still. And you've already created 3 other businesses. I'm like, oh, okay. So I had to when I put everything on the calendar, I had to assign it a timeline. So I made myself make decisions on what the level of importance was for the day. And then I gave it a time frame. Because if I didn't give it a time frame, I could like keep it going forever. And I don't like certain things. They just don't need that, right? So it's like, I'm going to pick these, write your list down. You pick those 3 things, and then you put it on the calendar, and you have a start and you have an end. So that way you feel like, okay, I did it, I accomplished it, and now you can move on. Maybe the next ones you build them throughout the calendar, throughout the week. That was really helpful for me, because otherwise I was doing everything. I was just generating, but then I never really completed anything. You went back on mute.
Sorry, I had to go back on mute for a second because
You're fine.
were 3 children speaking to me at once.
So you heard everything I said.
So I heard a ton of everything you said and ignored them. But yes, I put it on mute. Sorry.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine.
I think back to your thing about making decisions. That's exactly it. I need to make decisions and priorities before I speak, because the kids are probably like feeling the way your marketing team feels.
Believe me, my kids tell me the same thing too. They're like, you're always doing this. I'm like, oh, I'm like non-clinical hypomania. It's just who I am.
Yeah.
But it helps to like, I'm telling you, it really does help to CEO this. Like it takes away like the Marissa, it takes away her mind chatter of I should or shouldn't do. It's like, it's on the calendar, it's done, and there's not a negotiation because it's on the calendar. And I start here and I stop here and I don't bring any drama into it. It's just a neutral. A bike ride is neutral. A craft is neutral. It's just a thing. And then you get to assign everything to it, how you want it to feel and the result you want to get from it, the actions you want to take from it. Otherwise, don't play into the drama. Just do it, put on the calendar, complete it, enjoy it while you're doing it, make the decision ahead of time to enjoy it and move on. Best way to eliminate confusion is just to make a decision. Make it, be done, move on. All right, ladies, anybody else have anything they want to contribute to the other fellow bad moms out there? Because I could go on forever, and we're going to do this again on Friday. And please share with your friends. We're going to shift it. You know, after a while, we're probably going to shift it to another topic. But for now, like this whole what are we doing and how we're feeling and helping moms diffuse all of the chatter that's in their heads that's just wasting their energy is super important for me right now. So 2 things. One, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2:00, we're going to be here for the time being because I got the time, and we're going to continue to try to get our people together so we can have nice coaching calls. And number 2, if you really want to take your life coaching deeper, if any of this is resonating with you, but you want more, you want a deeper conversation, you want the worksheets, you want a private group that we're in constant communication with. I have an online group coaching. It meets twice a month, so it doesn't take up a ton of your time. Excuse me. It's only $49 per month with a 3-month commitment. So we've got that every single month. It is the first and third Wednesday of the month. I can send details on that. It's amazing for going deep dive into life coaching. This is like the surface, but I want to take you even further so you can completely up-level your life. So I'll post details about that. But ladies, thank you for being on, and hopefully we'll see you Friday or next Monday or next Wednesday. Excuse me. And I'm going to cut it because I need to get a drink of water. Everybody have a great day. No more drama. Permission to let it go. Take care.